Go back to what you're comfortable on.
Really interesting champion selects. I'm not quite sure 100% where to go. A little cheeky laugh. Trev knows his Gragas is going to be banned by Millenium. Lulu taken away as well. Kassadin, we expected that from the Supa Hot Crew as well. But from here, what are the Supa Hot Crew going to focus on?
I'm wondering about the engages. If you want to try take Thresh off the table, it is a possibility. You still have Elise to worry about. You still have Evelynn to worry about as well. Both Araneae and Impaler have played on those champions before, so we'll see what they're going to prioritize.
Last time they banned out Yasuo, Annie and Kassadin, so definitely a little bit different this time around. Kayle was banned by Millenium and Renekton taken away from Kevin. Now, I'm not sure about that one because Kevin's got a whole host of other champions to fall back onto. Ziggs was first picked here, so they want Kerp on that one, a safe mid lane first pick.
Yeah, the question is, what do the Supa Hot Crew want to grab in now? Ziggs, like you said, it's farm heavy. No matter what Moopz picks, Ziggs is basically going to be able to do okay. The Renekton ban, while yes, it is taking it off the table for Kevin, it does allow Supa Hot Crew to lock in something like a Trundle now and have the potential of a lane matchup that's not quite as punishing. You know, generally Renektons are pretty good at beating Trundles for the most part. And we'll see what Supa Hot Crew are going to lock in now.
Thresh would be a good choice in this one. We have seen that Jree, I said it before in their other games, that he plays a couple of different things that not other supports are really using. Blitzcrank is obviously the big example of that one, but it looks like it will very possibly be this, and a Lucian for MrRalleZ. This kind of makes sense. He played a lot of Lucian this year.
A massive amount. These are actually two super comfort picks for both MrRalleZ and Migxa. It's also denying it from Creaton and Jree. The last time these teams met, Creaton went 14-0-7 on Lucian. And I think it is Creaton's strongest champion. So smart to deny that from your opponents. On the side of Migxa as well, he's played more games with Thresh. He's also been more successful on it than Jree in the past. So it's a strong duel, and it also doesn't reveal anything else. They can fit with a lot of other lanes.
So Araneae is basically trolling us at this point. Zilean, though, has been played by Millenium this year, so not going to count that one out just yet. I'm wondering if Araneae wants, for example, to take the likes of Pantheon away from Impaler. Although Impaler himself, you know, Elise when it's been open has snatched that one up, but for me he's been more impressive on Pantheon.
I think so too, but knowing the way Araneae has been playing recently, I would say Lucian or the Evelynn would be the more realistic possibilities. Because of the fact that Elise is banned so often and not available, this week in particular, we've seen her falling by the wayside. Other champions have risen into that jungle slot. And like you've talked about, Jree has played Zilean before. We actually seen Khazix running it for the older line support in Battle of the Atlantic. It is a support that offers a lot of poke. It also, if used effectively, can give you early levels, early level 2, early level 6. And if you can use that very quick power spike effectively, you can get control of all of the lanes, because that is a global buff for the entire team of Millenium.
Now let's have a look for the Supa Hot Crew there. Duo lane is already locked in with Thresh and Lucian selected as their first two choices. They know they're up against a Ziggs in the mid lane. Orianna fits Moopz playstyle. He's played Orianna a couple of times this year already as well.
It's also been banned out against him. You know, it caught us by surprise. It's not really something that Moopz goes to as a first choice. I mean, he's played Gragas 9 times already, so that's where I would have guessed. At this point in time, he's leaving the option available for him. Mimer, however, is looking like we're going to see another Jax. So this is going to be Mimer's first Jax, if memory serves correctly. And it did very well in the previous game. If you give Jax enough time and you get him into a position where he has his items, he can destroy absolutely everybody.
What are they going to go with on the AD carry front here? The fact is, you've got Jax, you've got Khazix, who can both dive onto you, and what are they going to go with for Kevin in that top lane? We've seen Malphite works wonders against Jax in previous games, but is that something that Kevin wants to bring to the table?
You're actually right. Fnatic beat them with that Malphite Traveler, so this is the second time he's on Jax. Second time he's on Jax. I don't like Kevin on a Malphite. I prefer him on different bruisers. If he wants to go for something like an Olaf, like a Trundle, I think it's going to be a little bit better than the likes of that Malphite. But like you said, we have seen it in the past. It can work for them. As it stands, Supa Hot Crew have got a combination of champions where they want to find picks. They're going to put that Khazix in the jungle for Impaler, I'm expecting. And if they can get Impaler snowballed and rolling very early on, they have the tools available to keep winning, you know, aggressive team fights. But the problem is, they're going up against a Zilean who's going to revive whoever Khazix and Jax jumps on top of.
Yeah, and speed up. Let's not forget that, because that speed boost from Zilean is pretty ridiculously fast. And that onto an Olaf with his ultimate running, you're not going to stop him. He's getting onto the target that he wants at the end of the day. I'm expecting this Orianna, to be honest, to be picked up there. Ball on top of Jax or Khazix as they jump in. Shockwave the rest of the team.
Yeah, so let's start with the Millenium compounds. They've just locked in Orianna. Millenium can do a lot of things fairly well. They've got good poke, they've got good siege potential. As long as Millenium are comfortable, they've got some form of engage with the speed boost on Evelynn or Olaf to run in. But there's not a lot of hard CC. There's not a lot of things that can hold somebody in place, lock them down and kill them. So Millenium are going to be looking for open spaces where they can run at a team. Not so sure about tower diving, we'll see how that goes. For Supa Hot Crew, however, they're looking for skirmishes where they can blow somebody up. Get Jax and Khazix to jump on somebody, catch them with a shockwave, get the reset, and then force Millenium backwards. I also prefer the utility that they've got. Stun from Jax, slow from Orianna, hooks from Thresh as well.
And the fact is, we saw in that last game that you can kill a Jax in lane, but if he gets even close to being even with you and then gets his items, he's going to cause you a few problems. We'll see how that one all goes, though. It's time to find out what you guys think about this matchup. The voting on LOLesports.com has been going all week long, and according to you guys, the Supa Hot Crew by 61%.
I don't know. I think Millenium have looked better than Supa Hot Crew this week. I actually feel like if I were to go cast my vote right now, I would put the tick on Millenium's side based on the games that we've seen. Millenium, they are 1 and 2 coming into this matchup. They lost to SK, they lost to Fnatic, but it was by no means a whitewash. Whereas for the Supa Hot Crew, they let their opponents win. They played so passively, very uncharacteristically, and I think Millenium are looking better overall this week so far.
Yeah, I think Supa Hot Crew need to go back to that whole in your face, and that's why I'm kind of surprised that they've left that Pantheon go by the way. I mean, that worked for them, that style of just jump in there, dive in and get things going.
So what they have done, as opposed to using Pantheon for the Grand Skyfall and the Global, they've gone for a slightly shorter range jump, and it's going to be the leap on that Khazix. So the champions they've got now, we're going to see that Jax again. The Orianna is a little bit more traditional for Moopz, and I think Impaler being on an aggressive sort of ganking style jungler like this Khazix, I feel like is a good return to the flavor that this team likes to play. The thing is, can they implement it? That's the real test.
We'll find out. We're in game Millenium versus the Supa Hot Crew. Game 3 of our final day of Super Week here in Europe, and what a fantastic Super Week it's been. Even today, that opening game in particular being a real highlight, and we've still got 3 more to go, including this one. So definitely don't go anywhere. And the challenger, of course, is even after that, so it's still a full night of action and a full weekend with North America's Super Week as well.
Steve bakes cookies. We'll have to see if his gameplay is as good as his cookies are. But for this game right now, Millenium Supa Hot Crew, it is going to be a slow start at the very beginning. Millenium, basically the only team that actually likes to make plays happen very early on, sometimes to their detriment. But as it stands, passive start slowing down. They've got nothing to work with. I mean, if they were to go for level 1, they've got some poke. That's it. There's no hook. There's no hard CC to hold people in place.
Well, yeah, totally right on that one. I don't really have much more to say on that topic, so I'm going to switch topics. The ward's coming down early there. We see Migxa just spotting that one out and basically pinging in identical areas across the map, and we can see that pretty much in each position there's a red and a blue ward right next to each other.
At this point in time, we're going to have those standard lanes, and we're going to have another sort of unique duo lane, this time for Millenium. They're going to go for that Caitlyn and Zilean. And as long as Zilean has got some mana to play with, that he can use those bombs sitting on the heads of MrRalleZ and Migxa, I feel like the poke is going to be in favor of Millenium. But the problem is, there's not a whole lot of kill potential on their side. Migxa on Thresh, he's going to be able to hold somebody in place, and that's going to allow MrRalleZ to help them secure a kill. The one thing that's also going to work in Supa Hot Crew's favor is those bombs are going to push the wave towards their tower. So Supa Hot Crew have the option to go for kills or to play defensively, depending on how they use their abilities in this lane.
Well, there we see, look, level 2 on Kerp to level 1 on Moopz, 8% extra experience for Millenium in this game. Let's see if that affects the running of things, as Araneae here is out of mana, having to go at the blue buff. He's going to try and just juggle this one around. Obviously does have his smite. Olaf's going to regen him, and we'll see if he gets involved in any of the lanes. Impaler only just getting over to his blue.
Oh, Jree's in trouble.
He is in a lot of trouble. Can they catch him? One more auto attack, and there is that speed boost that I was mentioning earlier from Zilean. He's got no boots, and you still can't keep anywhere near him.
Yeah, Jree's flash is down though, so if Migxa gets caught by a death sentence, he is going to go down. He needs to play, Jree needs to play a little bit safer moving into those next moments of the game. And if we go back to that pre-game video where the Supa Hot Crew were talking about Millenium as a team, the Supa Hot Crew were saying that Millenium tried to force new champions, you know, instead of sticking with sort of what is known to be strong elsewhere. Olaf top. This is the first time that we're seeing it, the split. I'm going to go on a limb and say that. We see, you know, the Zilean support, it's not very popular. It's second time if memory serves. So we're going to see how Millenium make this one work for them.
Yeah, I think the only time that we saw Olaf previously was Colberto substituting for Gambit in the jungle.
And I think week 1, Diamond also played him in the jungle once as well, if memory serves. But yeah, it's a champion that we haven't seen super regularly or super popularly at all.
See how Kevin runs it this time around. Obviously used to be an old favourite in the top lane, did Olaf. Reminiscing somewhat there. Olaf in the top lane against Malphites and what have you. Possibly not the most entertaining top lanes. This one could be changed here though, because Impaler's waiting around. Question is, can you lock down Kevin?
So it's going to be very difficult. Kevin's got his ghost on as well, so the moment that stun wears off, there's no other CC really from Mimer or Impaler to hold him in place. And as far as the matchup goes, Kevin on Olaf is going to be able to shake off that Counter-Strike stun once he gets his Ragnarok, and he's one of the few top laners that can actually trade and duel a Jax. The lower Kevin's going to go, the higher his attack speed he's going to get from his W. He's got some lifesteal. He's also got true damage as well. So once Jax gets all those additional defensive statistics from his ultimate, it doesn't matter because that Reckless Swing is just going to slam down and hit Mimer pretty hard. So this could be a really interesting duel. Unlike the previous one, which is a little bit more stale between the Jax Aatrox.
You see there, Araneae with that extra experience that he's getting. He should hit level 6 before that of Impaler, who's obviously come down towards this bottom lane. Lantern, of course, is available for Migxa as Mimer and Kevin again go head to head. That perma-stun almost of the axes coming out there from Kevin as we are going to see the Lantern down. They're going to go in for it, but the hooks miss. They're going for Creaton nonetheless. The damage just returned straight away. Bomb on Impaler.
Yeah, 90 caliber net to get away. Unfortunately for Migxa, not landing the death sentence means no follow-up can land. I like the attempt though. At the very least, Impaler's trying to look for kills on a champion like Khazix where he's going to be outscaled by an Evelynn. I feel the threat that Araneae offers, as well as the team fight power of that Agony's Embrace, if Supa Hot Crew stay a little bit grouped, is going to be very, very powerful. Impaler is not necessarily the one you want to be starting the team fight for Supa Hot Crew. He wants to jump in after somebody's a little bit low, get some executes, and then eventually hop around, but it will take him some time to get there.
Now is Kerp actually level 6 to the level 5 Moopz, and he kind of felt that some pressure was going to come out of the jungle. Impaler was already starting to come around the side, couldn't quite get in. He's far behind Araneae in terms of experience right now. We see that Araneae is level 5.5, going to be hitting 6 definitely before Impaler. The question is, where will Araneae really make his presence felt on the map? Where's the focus going to be, really, for Millenium against the Supa Hot Crew as he comes into middle? Moopz is going to try and get away, but they're going to chain things together. Shield comes out from Moopz. That was so close.
Very well played there by Millenium. Actually, just timing that one, you could actually see Araneae hesitated. He waited to line up the ultimate. Creaton, great 90 caliber net. Going to get away from that hook in the bottom lane. You asked about where does Araneae go? And truthfully, any lane that's overextended. There's a lot of damage for all of his lanes, and right now, they're going to set their sights on Mimer, but there's still no Agonies just yet.
Ragnarok popped, and Mimer's like, ha, that's just a completely obvious sign that Evelynn is going up to that top lane. Was indeed true. Araneae was on his way to have a bit of a go on towards Mimer. Doesn't get it, though.
So there was too many minions for Kevin to really pick that fight as well. They would have melted him down in conjunction with Mimer if the fight carried on. The one thing that I think Millenium are a little bit weak at right now is setting up a team fight or setting up a pick unless they catch Supa Hot Crew out of position. Araneae is sneaking himself. He does have Smite. Smite Wall, who's going to get it?
Wow, that was awkward.
That was a little awkward.
A little bit too early. And Impaler's like, wow, that was pretty close. Almost lost my red buff. but he gets it nonetheless. Bit of a scare for him. Mimer had just come down there as well, but Araneae has already sped himself up with that W, and he's way out of harm's way.
And to just go back to that point about Millenium looking for a pick, because they don't have that stun from Jax, or they don't have a death sentence from Migxa, they're going to be quite reliant on Araneae coming in from the side or coming in from behind somebody of Supa Hot Crew, getting the kill, and then moving forward onto a tower and objective. The one thing that is quite nice for Millenium is that their team fight before, or while their team fight while they spread out, will at least mitigate a lot of Supa Hot Crew's strengths. When you see a gank in this top lane, Impaler's coming in, he has evolved his Q at level 6, they're going on Kevin.
Yeah, they're going to get the stun, there is no Ragnarok there for him, we're going to see the Ghost used, but First Blood comes down, and it's Jax that picks it up, so, you know, he's fallen behind a little bit in CS here as Mimer, but he gets that First Blood. Can't allow a Jax to get rolling. Definitely
not. As it stands though, Mimer has been struggling a little bit in that top lane. He was falling behind on CS. It's 20 right now. The fact that he's got the First Blood is going to at least make up that goal difference, and Araneae is going to clear this wave out. So what's quite important about that wave being picked up by Araneae, it's going to give him some additional gold and the experience, and very importantly, is not going to let the damage land on that tower, so Kevin can try pull himself back into it. Impaler's looking once again for another gank. Doesn't have his ultimate available, so he's not going to be jumping in there stealth like we've seen previously.
Yeah, he walked over the top of a ward as well. Kerp was just trying to keep him there as long as he possibly can. Impaler, as you said, level 6 now. Just popping through on that one, this bottom lane. And it's funny because Creaton's so vocal about the fact that if you fall behind as an AD carry, it's so hard to have an impact on the game, and it means that you have to almost force a kill in that bottom, and you have to then kill to get back into it. But how are you going to set up a kill with a Zilean?
So there's one of these things that, you know, we see in the previous game where Jax had the shields of the wild growth from Lulu and he had the intervention from Caitlyn. In this game, it's going to be Olaf going up against a Jax. There's no save Jax's life button really for the Supa Hot Crew. However, for Millenium, if Kevin gets into a position where he's dueling Mimer or he's running amok in the back line, that, that rewind from Zilean is going to give Olaf the extra leash on life. It's going to give him the time that he needs to either kill MrRalleZ or destroy Impaler. And once those damage threats are down, you can focus Jax as a team, which I think is a very smart call.
See how it works for him as later this game goes on. Kevin, at the moment, back into his lane, got himself a chain vest, double Doran's blades, and a Doran shield with boots of speed as well, so he's going to be feeling pretty confident, got good damage while having those tanky stats for this stage of the game as well.
Mimer's really not wanting to even challenge. You've seen that minion wave was pushing up. Mimer's hanging way back at his tower. He doesn't want to get caught by those undertows. He doesn't want to take more poke than he needs to. Migxa, even though he's like quite overextended without MrRalleZ, there's no real kill threat on him. He has to take an immense amount of poke before an ace in the hole and, you know, those double time bombs can even run a threat of killing him. Supa Hot Crew with a little bit of invade just to get rid of vision.
Barely going to jump away. Actually, did get knocked against the wall there with that satchel charge. Araneae, is he going to speed off? Actually, ace in the hole. They're going to try and combo things, and that is a good amount of damage. A bouncing bomb. Ooh, that was really close. I'm not sure it would have quite finished him off, but it would have been super close. Either way, Millenium have the start on the Dragon. Impaler is low, which makes it so much harder for him to come in. There's the Colin being thrown down. Who's going to get this one? It is going to be stolen. Impaler picks up the Dragon. He's got a bomb in his head. A shockwave comes down onto Jree. He's put the ultimate on himself, and now Moopz is trying to get away. That doesn't work out. MrRalleZ going to be chased down. Barrier, flash from Kerp, and the bouncing bomb bounces far enough, and that is 2 kills for Millenium.
If Millenium want to stick to the tower, they can get this one down. They've got a couple of members hanging around. You have to give props to Impaler there. He was able to smite the Dragon because Araneae's smite was not available. He didn't have it when they started that Dragon off. So Supa Hot Crew come out with a small win as far as the gold is concerned, but the double kill onto Kerp's Ziggs is very, very worrying. You've seen how much damage those bouncing bombs were already doing to the members of Supa Hot Crew, and they just can't let him get rolling further. He could even get this tower down because Moopz is going to take a while to get here.
Yeah, Moopz is pretty much miles away from this one. There's a big wave of minions coming in. You can see Kerp just spamming out those bouncing bombs. Actually, that one did hit Moopz, which caused him to take turret aggro. Doesn't matter though, Kerp pretty much solos that outer turret.
So overall net gain is going to be in favor of Millenium now. They've got that mid tower down, which is going to allow Araneae a little bit more freedom in that the middle lane in the middle of the map. with that Evelynn so he can start roaming around. We're seeing a similar ward strategy here from the Supa Hot Crew against this Eve. Defensive pink wards in their jungle, trying to get just information on when Araneae is invading, as opposed to deep pink wards or deep vision, which would give you information on when Araneae is doing his jungle camps, for example, and allow you to rotate around the map that way.
And Kerp continuing with the damage. Both mid laners got that Athene's advantage in CS. He's over on one side. This top lane remains interesting for me. Kevin versus Mimer. Kevin does have the CS lead there. Got that chain vest in, which will negate a lot of what Mimer can throw at him at this stage of things. He's got himself the cutlass, so he's got a bit of sustain in that top lane, but up until now, I don't expect him to be killing each other without anyone really interfering in that, whether that's a Kerp roam into ulti possibly, or the junglers getting involved.
Because of the fact that Kevin has actually maxed his reckless swings, and he's got 2 points in that undertow, I actually feel like over a prolonged fight, Kevin may have the kill advantage there. You can chase Jax down with those undertows. He's got one leap. Kevin can throw the ghost down, get undertow after undertow, and stick to Mimer. And I think that's probably why Mimer is playing super defensive. He's 30 CS down in that lane. If you look across the other lanes, Millenium have got a 23 CS lead in the mid lane. They've got an additional assist on their jungler. And Caitlyn has got a small edge in that bottom lane, but again, MrRalleZ doing what he does best. He's holding even, he's doing the best he can in that lane.
And it's funny because I said earlier on about where's the kill potential really going to come from, and it's just been the pure harassment that you get from the Zilean of those bomb after bomb after bomb that's really started things off. Meanwhile, we're not going to see Araneae coming into this top lane. Mimer's going to have the help of Impaler. They're going to jump on towards Kevin. It's a lot of damage, but Impaler goes low, has to flash, does get the kill. Bomb flies over. Can Araneae get over? There's two very, very low targets for him, but he can't get through.
The burst damage was insane. I didn't expect that to work, but Kevin was isolated. Bouncing bomb comes out. Mimer's one. Kerp gets it. He's looking for Impaler. Not this time.
Not this time, but jumps off the satchel charge and has another go. Now Moopz has come to this top lane. There's two men just sat there in that side brush. Can they get anything from that one? Creaton did die, by the way, down in the bottom lane. Just saw that.
We didn't actually catch that kill. I think that's probably just landing a hook. We may get a replay of that one, but regardless, in the top lane, I think the play Moopz is now in a little bit of trouble. Gets away.
Yeah, actually had to use his flash from that one. They pinned him against the wall as well. I don't think feeling confident enough to tank up the turret, but that's low. They can probably finish off with this wave.
The one thing I want to touch on for that top lane kill onto Kevin is that Araneae waited. He waited until both Impaler and Mimer were standing next to each other, that he could get a proper attack on his ultimate. He hit both of those targets. It ended up working in his favor somewhat, but unfortunately, Kevin, even with all of that armor and those ninja tabi, got shredded. So this is the kill, and yes, that's just Creaton being straight up hooked. Gonna eat the culling. Oh, great lantern there as well. Even through the chrono shift as well. So, gonna revive. Is there another hook? We're about to find out. That's just another play. I think that's just straight up outplay. MrRalleZ and Migxa killed him twice.
That's Jree having to actually flash away from that one as well, so he was lucky to actually survive with his life. Good play from the Supa Hot Crew. Down bottom, it leaves us tied up in kills. Migxa, is he going to go down? Yes, he is. Creaton gets that kill. Impaler has to dodge the Mega Inferno bomb. They've lost his turret, though.
Yeah, they definitely have. As it stands, Kerp has put on his carry pants because he is doing a phenomenal job with the Ziggs. He's got 3 of his team's 4 kills. His Mega Inferno bombs, maybe they haven't got kills, but they put so much pressure on Supa Hot Crew. And every time Kerp has been needed, he's been roaming on a champion that's not necessarily a super strong roamer. Yes, he's got good range with his ultimate, but he's pushed that bottom lane. He helped on the Dragon. He got a kill in the top lane, got a lot of damage on that tower. And with Dragon respawning in 30 seconds, he's just finished off his Sorcerer's Shoes as well. So in conjunction with that needlessly large rod, he's got a lot of damage to work with.
Araneae heading up in towards the enemy jungle, and that pesky pink ward spot, we saw it already in our last game, seems to be haunting Araneae as well this time. He didn't actually check that brush, so that pink will stay alive. Let's have a look down some of the items that have come in then. Specifically down in the bottom lane after those exchanges. Bloodthirster Zeal is done for Creaton. Other side, Bloodthirster Pickaxe. So pure damage going to be on MrRalleZ's side. Yeah, MrRalleZ maybe feeling a little bit of pressure, wants to go for that last Whisper. We'll see if it works out from Supa Hot Crew. Start the Dragon first, but they can't afford to stay on it because Kerp's bouncing bombs are going to zone them out. Moopz eats one, drops a lot of his HP. And every time Supa Hot Crew go in, Millenium will just keep poking them down, waiting for Araneae to go in when they're low. Off to the side, flanking with that Evelynn. There's the start again from the Supa Hot Crew. Let's not forget last time around Impaler just stole that dragon away, as we're going to see the combo. Migxa going very low. They do get the dragon here, the Supa Hot Crew, and will they survive with all 5 men alive? Yes, for now at least. Migxa still waiting. Bomb's still bouncing in, and Kerp too scared to actually go in there. Migxa does actually get away with his life intact. Just tucked himself in the corner and I think prayed for a while. That
was a little bit weird. Yes, Araneae took a lot of damage very early on, but Chrono Shift was available there. They didn't use that from Zilean. Do you see the bouncing bombs coming out, not getting kills? Millenium kind of wanted to challenge. Araneae went low, and I think he probably made the call to back away. So Millenium, they give up that dragon. Supa Hot Crew secured. That's the second dragon of the game for them. Previous one, Impaler, was actually able to sneak away from Millenium, and it's keeping them in touching distance. So 1,500 gold down, but they're not by no means out of it. They still haven't made a play of their own. Impaler's got a good gank in the top lane, but they haven't pushed for any other towers with the exception of the one they got following the kill in the bottom lane.
Yeah, that's the thing. If they evened up the tower score now, they'd be actually ahead in this game. So we'll see if they can actually get into a scenario where they can push those towers down. And I think part of the reason why it's so hard is because of that Evelynn on the map. You never quite know when she's going to come in there to rescue and put you in a position where you're down by a man or two.
And you know what's going to be even more difficult for Supa Hot Crew is actually sieging a tower. If there's a couple members of Millenium up, there's wave clear from Undertows, there's wave clear from Ziggs, there's wave clear from Caitlyn, and those bombs are also going to be doing, splash damage across all of the minions. So Millenium have got a lot of champions that are going to be able to clear out those minion waves quite efficiently and quite effectively. So Supa Hot Crew need to find kills, and they need to either out-rotate Millenium, catching them off guard, or they just have to be in a very, very advantageous position where Millenium are too afraid to even be standing on their tower.
Move up for Kerp. Certainly do with that one. Araneae just giving him a bit of a helping hand. Of course, Araneae did challenge for that red buff last time around, so we'll see if he ends up on that side of the map again. Kevin just going to do a standard top lane thing and keep pushing. So, Sunfire Cape is now in his inventory, so that'll certainly help things out. On that front, got the Ninja Tabby as well, so stacking up that armor against the Jax just to be able to go up against it, because whilst damage is going to help him, obviously, with that Reckless String, the true damage coming out from, he's always going to have that source.
The thing is, it's quite difficult for Kevin, because even with the armor that he had previously, he didn't have the HP to survive the rest of the damage from Impaler's Khazix. And also, there's a good chunk of damage that is magic from Jax. He's empowering his W, and the third attack from his ultimate is going to be doing a lot of magic damage. So Kevin's going to want some MR suit. As it stands, Millenium gets a good poke at Impaler, and they're going to grab themselves a completely free turret.
Not just the siege potential here, but the zoning that they've got just from Ziggs alone. I mean, Kerp has been really, really accurate today with those bouncing bombs. You've got that minefield, which just keeps you out of a complete area. Millenium simply take that inner turret. They're going to back away, and that just edges their gold lead a little bit further out.
So one of the things that Millenium can do very well for the rest of this game, because they've got good siege, both aggressive and defensive tools they can use to their advantage, if Millenium just decide to disengage every team fight, but push every tower, move up, land poke, grab the town, then run away. Use the Zilean speed up, get Undertows to get rid of people, put the minefield down so Supa Hot could not chase them. Millenium have got a legitimate tactic of just playing towers. They don't have to fight because they've got the longest range AD carry with Caitlyn, who can get those auto attacks on the turrets, with Ziggs and Olaf and Zilean putting poke down.
I'm here just waiting in the brush. Impaler is going to be coming towards that top lane. Araneae going to be spotted. Mimer actually going to stun him up here. We'll see if he can actually finish him off. That is a lot of damage coming Araneae's way. Can he escape it? No, he can't. Mimer gets that one. Impaler has to jump away, but Kevin is not messing around. He gets the undertow down onto Impaler. 1-for-1, but Jack's got the kill for the Supa Hot Crew.
The one thing that is good to see from that, though, now that Kevin's got that Spectre's Cowl, he's got some MR to at least survive some of that magic damage that Mimer's putting out. Araneae now needs to get a little bit more tanky. He's got the makings of that Randian's Omen, but as we've seen, as soon as Mimer focuses him, he lost about half of his hit points from one spell reel, from one combo there from Mimer's Jax. Araneae really needs to avoid getting caught up by Jax. I think his focus is going to be trying to zone out MrRalleZ, forcing him back if some of these bigger team fights break out.
So just touch on the AD carries again. We mentioned earlier that Creaton had fallen behind in that lane. Actually, quite far ahead at this point now. 206 to 180 CS there of MrRalleZ. So that constant poke and pressure from Jree helped them get the lane back, and the fact is Creaton has spent a lot of time on his own, just pushing wave after wave after wave and farming up.
Yeah, the tower being down for Millenium also plays a little bit into Creaton's favor because the wave is pushing against him. You see it's only really now reset itself and moving all the way up to Supa Hot Crew's tower. So Creaton's had a lot of time basically safe farming. In order for Supa Hot Crew to get to him, they have to extend very deep in that lane. There's 40 seconds until Dragon. Supa Hot Crew have grabbed both of the previous ones, albeit there's been quite awkward engages, I think, for both of the teams. Millenium have got pretty good vision. Actually, they've got phenomenal vision around the Dragon Pit. So very, very clear. I'm expecting Millenium to challenge for that next Dragon.
Pink wards cleared out by Supa Hot Crew. They've got that one ward down in the death bush. There's one in the tri-bush as well for Millenium as they put a few over, and then another pink ward in to clear as much out as they possibly can. Pink ward itself probably going to go down as they just say battle over wards inside of that death bush for now. As a trap goes in, that'll stop them getting in. Put your own ward in there and see if they step on it.
Yeah, that'll help just a little bit, get that poke down. Now Millenium, I don't really think they're looking for a team fight here. I think with their composition having so much disengage and such fantastic long-range poke, they want to get damage down on Supa Hot Crew and then either finish up with an Evelynn or an Olaf, like getting a kill, or they just simply want to zone them out. Now Araneae has gone low, Chrono Shift is available, he gets a Dragon!
He gets it, finally Millenium are able to pick up a Dragon, there's a good shockwave, Jree gonna follow, he actually had to flash away from that one, no one died just yet, Araneae getting caught by the hook, Moopz will finish him off, he's a Dragon for a kill.
Definitely worth it for Millenium. Kerp is going to try zoning out Supa Hot Crew. The rest of Millenium are now barreling down this middle lane. Creaton is untouched right now. They're going to get on this inhibitor turret. Thresh will be the first one to defend, but he's not going to be enough to push them off.
Guards in there for Migxa. Well, can they stop this turret going down? Will Millenium stick around? Actually, no, they won't. They're going to back away from that one. Top inner turret is available for the taking, although they don't have the minion wave on their side yet.
So the home guard boots of Impaler put a little bit of fear onto Millenium. If Millenium had stuck around and been jumped on by potential, like Impaler and Mimer, Jax Khazix combo, there is the potential for them to have got, you know, killed and cleaned up. They didn't have their ultimates. Now all of a sudden Millenium, they fall back to the jungle. Supa Hot Crew are going to grab a tower.
And this is something that I feel like we've not seen in quite a long time, where a team simply runs up mid, then runs away and almost leaves a free tower, no defense on it whatsoever. Good move from the Supa Hot Crew though, didn't quite get it finished off in the end though, which is something that they, to be honest, need at this point. I mean, it's 2,700 gold, most of which is in the towers that Millenium have taken.
I think all of it is in those towers. Yeah. Even on kills, CS is in favor of Millenium. I mean, Olaf is definitely ahead of Mimer. You can see Creaton's pulled ahead of MrRalleZ as well, but it hasn't necessarily equated to a massive item difference. Kevin is still working towards that Randuin's Omen. You can see Mimer now with his Trinity Force and his Blade of the Ruined King. He's got a lot of damage. And if he's going to go for the same build that we've seen previously, Guardian Angel is going to be next. So with this red buff as well, I actually feel like he's got some dueling potential on Kevin in a 1v1, especially if Impaler's going to hang out with him. You can see Impaler's wings have also been enlarged, so he's got that evolved leap, which means resets are a potential if there's multiple people involved.
Kevin actually was recalling, but now he's going to come in and try and challenge Mimer. He's already seen Impaler's position though, as Araneae is taking as much from the jungle as he possibly can. See that the Void Staff was picked up as well by Kerp now. So Rabadon's, Athene's, Void Staff and those Sorcerer Shoes. A lot of damage from this Ziggs.
There's next to no MR items for Supa Hot Crew. There's a tiny bit with that Hex Drinker, and you know, Athene's gives you a little as well, but truthfully, no Spur Visages, no Banshees Veils, and I think Supa Hot Crew need to prioritize some MR soon, because if Kerp and Millenium are able to put them once again in those siege positions, the bouncing bombs were already hurting before the Void Staff was picked up, so they're going to hurt significantly more.
Mimer trying his best to get on that turret, which Kevin has done so well to protect. Now Kerp is headed up toward the top lane. Impaler is already waiting. They know where Impaler is. There's the first bouncing bomb coming in, and actually just dive in between the two of them. See how quickly that comes off cooldown here when he's got that blue buff running in the Athenes.
Yeah, it definitely helps out. We do see the rest of Supa Hot Crew. They were thinking about going in, but they don't have more information to work with. The rest of Millenium now grouped up. We talked about how the strength of Millenium's composition is actually going to be in sieging towers. You know, either defending against it or pushing. the big over-aggression in Millenium, but I think Supa Hot Crew may have bitten off more than they can chew.
Yeah, Migxa actually at the back is going to be focused down. Kerp now on a rampage as he picks up that one, and that means that this turret is pretty much a freebie for them. Supa Hot Crew, are they going to try and sit behind it and defend? I don't think they really can. Another minion wave actually coming in. There's a poke again, and there is the ace in the hole, blocked out by Mimer.
And that is melting Mimer. He still has no defensive items picked up. Still sitting on his tier 1 boots. Millenium can continue the siege. Without Migxa there for the engage, you're just going to see Kerp throwing out those bouncing bombs over and over and over.
They don't need to move from this position now, Millenium. They can continue to just poke and poke. Mimer off to the side, not full HP. Moopz in a similar scenario. It's all about getting the minions here quick enough for them, and they see as soon as Migxa comes back in, he's the one that can really start things off. But how? He's got to basically dive into the middle of the team. I think he's dead before he can really set anything up.
There's a time limit for Supa Hot Crew when defending against this much poke. The longer you stay there, the more difficult it is to defend because of the splash. The rest of Supa Hot Crew are trying to... They were toying with the idea of pushing down the mid lane, maybe going to that turret and pulling Millenium towards them. But if you do that, Millenium's just going to say, great, go get our outer middle turret, we'll get you an inhibitor turret. It's a trade Millenium will take, which is, I think, why Supa Hot Crew backed away. At the end of the day, Millenium, play this one a little safe. It's still a minute to Dragon. Probably got some money to spend. Get ready and go for the next Dragon fight.
Lanes are working with them as well. Top one pushed on straight through. Bottom one has just been pushed back a little bit by MrRalleZ, but going way past that halfway point. Supa Hot Crew trying to buy themselves a bit of time here by shoving out as much as they possibly can. Now, we have seen a last whisper now finished in there for Creaton, so what armor there is, and even armor there's
not much.
Actually none. Like.
It's glass cannons here for Supa Hot Crew. So what that does mean is yes, you have the ability to win team fights, and you have the ability to kill Millenium, but you've actually got to do it. You've actually got to jump on Millenium, look for a fight. And as it stands, you know, the previous fight, Millenium played it perfectly. They had Kevin and Araneae quite extended in the lane. As Supa Hot Crew were trying to go on those two, you know, tanky sort of frontline champions, the rest of Millenium just closed in from behind and suffocated any possibilities for Supa Hot Crew to fight. And Supa Hot Crew just still looking for that moment. 3,000 gold. It's not unthinkable to win a team fight, but they have to be very, very, very careful.
From this one, we can see the Millenium have slightly backed away from it. What is the plan from them? Fight from a distance. They've got great poke. We've seen it time and time again. There's another bouncing bomb coming in, and see what amount of damage that it's able to do to the team. And just a couple landing, and Supa Hot Crew's plans of even challenging for Dragon go.
Now, because Araneae is sitting on the side, the moment one or two more bombs land, we've seen Kerp opening up team fights with that Mega Inferno bomb. Body blocked by, I think that was MrRalleZ actually. Rest of Millenium are trying to surround them. Supa Hot Crew being split. This is good for Millenium. If they want to start a fight, Araneae can go in. But Mimer wants to jump on the back line.
They are going straight into this one. There is the bomb coming down the back. Moopz is dead. I don't think Migxa's going to survive. Ragnarok. Olaf is charging in. Araneae actually got one. He flashes over the wall to chase down Impaler. Couldn't quite get in on top of him, but nonetheless, that's 2-0. That's a Dragon for Millenium.
Supa Hot Crew were so scared of that poke. They split up. They were in two different entrances to the river, and Millenium just ran them down. Millenium have got a lot of movement, they've got a lot of damage, and now they're extending that gold lead. It's now 6,000 gold right now. The Supa Hot Crew needed a team fight right then to not let this game fall out even further out of the control, and that's definitely not going to help them.
Baron started off by Millenium. How is this one going to go from Impaler's waiting over the side? He's actually taking damage from the red buff here. Bouncing bomb almost enough to take him out, and he's zoned by the minefield. The Baron is super low. Are they going to be able to steal it? No, they're not. Araneae will smite that one down. And now Millenium not only having that dragon, the last dragon, not only having the advantage in terms of turrets, now they've got a Baron buff to work with as well.
Now with the regen that they've got from the Baron, I wholeheartedly expect Millenium to just siege for the next 4 minutes. Potentially just going to the bottom lane, getting the last inner turret that's available, and then just moving on to the inhibitor turrets. They can spend the money that they've earned, use the composition to its full effect. They don't need to team fight because they've got all the tools they need to win the tower battle. And this is quite a smart composition that they are pulling out for their last game of Super Week.
So, on the other side of the coin then, Millenium is clear what they have to do to win this game. What can Supa Hot Crew to stop Millenium doing that to them? Like, what is the plan for Supa Hot Crew right now?
So what Supa Hot Crew needed to have done in probably that last Dragon fight or the one prior to it is actually use a Shockwave on multiple members of Millenium. We've not seen that Shockwave come down in any real team fight. You know, it's been used a couple of times, but it's not enough. And in order for that to happen, Supa Hot Crew have to get Millenium at a choke point. So when Millenium are moving through the jungle or moving through the lane, you can see Millenium are grouping up in the bottom lane. Supa Hot Crew need to have better vision, that they can either jump on them from the side, pulling a death bush, or catch them off guard. Just jump over a wall instantly and try to get a 3-man, 4-man Shockwave.
And I just feel like Glass Cannon setup is not going to work when you've got an Olaf with a Sunfire Cape, a Banshees, and a Araneae, and the jungle's got Araneae, and the mid lane has got a Zhonya's Hourglass. And you've got Zilean in the team who's going to bring whoever does get low from that damage at the start right back into life. We see their Impaler taken half of his health away instantly by that ace in the hole, and to be honest, they can just push through. Look at the damage coming in. Migxa almost dies to that single combo out of Kerp, and they just tank it up. Kevin took the entire ultimate out of MrRalleZ. Inhibitors going down.
So Supa Hot Crew lose their first inhibitor. The poke that comes down from Millenium worked out perfectly. We talked about how they just forced you low. They don't want a team fight. Millenium actually are not looking for kills. Got themselves an inhibitor. There's a minions actually securing a tower there for Supa Hot Crew, but it's not going to change anything. Yeah, Millenium can regen, push the minions up in the middle lane, then counter shove the top lane, and just get as many inhibitors down as possible, then siege the Nexus and close this game out.
Feels like a matter of time for Millenium. They've had trouble closing out games in the past, but I think the setup really is on their side this time. We'll have to see. We saw Alliance earlier on, despite being, I don't want to say behind, because that was a strange game where they remained ahead in gold and ended up losing a couple of team fights and then also the Baron as well. But we've seen comebacks happen, so the Supa Hot Crew still have the ability to make something happen, and Millenium still have the ability to mess something up.
So for Millenium, just on the Super Week, this is potentially their second win, to have them go 2-2. Bomb comes down. I mean, look at that damage now. Millenium, oh, he's dead.
Yeah, Araneae jumping in for that one, and they're going for Araneae, and they didn't do anything to him. Araneae didn't really take any damage. The bomb will come in. Araneae steals it to get himself a double. This is inhibitor number 2. They can win the game.
There's so much damage on the side of Millenium. They've still got Chrono Shift. They've still got all of those bouncing bombs. It is just a matter of time before they get on those Nexus turrets. The Super Minions are about to get in there as well. So Millenium looks like they're going to go 2-2 on Super Week.
2-2, and I think as the bottom place team in the league right now, they can be quite happy with it. This one performed really, really well. The games that they've lost this week, they've performed really, really well in, and that is a vital win. Confidence going to be boosted for Millenium. They're going to need it in the fight against relegation.